Hey guys, it's Allie. Welcome to VirtuAlly, where I share with you what I discovered this week in the world of virtual reality. If you're a South Park fan or a virtual reality fan, you've likely seen last week's South Park episode Grounded Vindaloo. The episode shows Butters entering what he thinks is virtual reality through the use of a ski mask with Oculus written on it, by Cartman of course, but when his virtual actions have actual consequences in real life, it leaves all the kids wondering what's real and what's virtual. The episode has cool little references all throughout to Total Recall, The Matrix, and I think Inception? Now guys, I'm gonna tell you something that may change the way you see me forever. I don't watch South Park. I don't really like it. Look, I'm still a good person, it just doesn't do it for me that much, okay? Just relax. But that said, I did watch this episode because of the subject matter, and I have to say that I think Matt and Trey did an excellent job. It was pretty funny, and it's clear that they have at least a passing interest in VR. They even included a leap motion attached to the front of the Rift, which I thought was a pretty cool detail. I'm also really happy to see the attention that South Park garnered for VR. Apparently, tweets containing phrases like virtual reality and VR increased significantly during, after, and leading up to the episode. In fact, tweets containing the word Oculus actually spiked by 600%. Also, if you happen to submit a customer support ticket to Oculus last Thursday, you'll have been taken care of by Steve, who really wanted to take care of all your customer service needs in a timely and satisfactory manner. But Steve was only with us for one day. Matt at Oculus Support explained to a journalist at uploadvr.com that after Thursday, Steve was recalled for everyone. It was a total recall. Oh fuck. So guys, the next thing I'm gonna talk about today is Samsung, who made an actual ton of announcements at the Samsung Developers Conference last week. Here are the highlights if you missed them. First, they unveiled a sneak preview of a new camera they call Project Beyond. It's a 360-degree 3D capturing camera that captures videos and streams them to the Gear VR. It actually houses 16 full HD cameras plus one on top, and it collects a gigapixel of 3D data every second. Do you know what a gigapixel is? It's a billion pixels. Jeez. And it's not just a concept, it's an actual working thing. Or at least the earliest version of it is. Second, Samsung announced that the Gear VR Innovator Edition will be available in early December. It'll retail for $199 or $249 if paired with a Samsung Bluetooth gamepad. As you'll remember, the Gear VR will only work with the Galaxy Note 4, and Samsung says that the phone, when connected with the Gear VR, will automatically install several apps developed by Oculus, including a special home screen, a VR movie theater, and more. And it was also announced that there are already over 60 titles in development for the Gear VR, 13 of which were on display at the Developers Conference. Some titles included Temple Run VR, Titans of Space, and an immersive look inside Tony Stark, aka Iron Man's workshop, which I think sounds marvelous. Marvelous. And if you're a developer who wants to create even more content for the Gear VR, Oculus just launched the official mobile software development kit, so I'll look forward to that virtual Hogwarts tour any day now. I know you guys won't let me down. And in our final piece of news, recently, for their 10th birthday, Mozilla launched MozVR, a VR website designed to encourage others to create VR websites. MozVR allows anyone with an Oculus Rift to browse through several demos within a VR interface with the goal of displaying how VR can work on the web. The demos include a fly-through of coastal British Columbia, a VR web motion control demo from Leap Motion, and episode 4 of Ella VR's show Talk Chat Show Thing. And possibly the coolest thing about MozVR is that if you want to build an experience for the browser, Mozilla is sharing all the code and providing tools and tutorials to help you do it. If you want to check it out, I'll provide a link in the description of this video. Now, MozVR showed something else that I found especially interesting. It demonstrated how you can view panoramic photos in VR on the web, which obviously can be done outside of Mozilla, and of course there's spherical video as well, but it still made me think about all the potential of being able to jump into people's photographs. We take photos to capture memories and share certain experiences with other people. Photojournalists do it to give our eyes something to do while we're not reading the news. But currently, we only see those images in small, limited rectangles that only tell a fraction of the whole story. Just imagine what Instagram would be like with people using bubble cams and Samsung Beyonds to take spherical pictures of their sushi and selfies. Hashtag no filter, hashtag just woke up like this. So guys, for this week's interview, I got to do a video chat with my awesome friend Kyle Riesenbeck, who you probably know as Reverend Kyle. We talked about his new VR talk show, Feedback with Rev Kyle, what he thinks will be the killer app, and of course, his dream VR experience. Check it out. Okay, so I'm here with Rev Kyle, the voice of VR. You guys probably know him from the Rev VR podcast, and now his new show, Feedback with Reverend Kyle. How's it going?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. It's really nice to see you again. Me and Kyle go way, way back. We're old
Oh, yeah.
pals. Thank you so much for coming and joining me today on VirtuAlly. So the first thing I want to ask you about is your new show, Feedback with Reverend Kyle. Can you tell me how that came to be?
The RiftMax team approached me, and they wanted to do a new show, a regular weekly show on Friday nights. And I had been looking for a way to generate new content other than just my already well-known podcast. I wanted something new, something refreshing, something video, something to give you entertainment value as opposed to just the, point and shoot interview that I've been doing for so long. Let's just have some fun guests on, do some silly things. That's what Feedback is all about.
It's held inside of RiftMax, correct?
That's right. Yeah. So it's in RiftMax, and it will be live. There's a live studio audience, as well as it being streamed onto Hitbox, hitbox.tv/RiftMax, where you can watch it, and there's a chat in there and everything.
Okay, so it can be said that you really have your finger on the pulse of all the news and interesting stuff coming out in the world in VR, and there's always a ton of it. What's got you the most excited?
One of the big things for me, and I have it here in front of me, is my Note 4. Yes. I can't wait to start developing for it because the Gear VR, the Samsung Developers Conference just happened, and we were all told, hey, it's coming soon. But we'll see. I'm really excited about getting my hands on the Gear VR.
Absolutely, me too. So I recently just wrapped up what I call the VR Maker series on VirtuAlly because I wanted to focus and help support people who were choosing openness rather than stealth mode. Have you encountered that a lot, and what do you think about that?
I think that there are several thought processes going on in the VR development community right now. There are those people who are closed books. No, you can't know what we're doing until it's done. And then there are those people who are very open to sharing every little thing, every little tool, every little quirk and quibble that they find. There are teams out there who are just really putting a lot of effort into getting tools in the hands of newbie developers.
Why the stealth mode in the companies and the teams who are choosing that path? Why the closed lips, do you think?
It's either because they don't want anybody to steal their idea, or they don't really want any feedback or criticism yet. They know that they're not close enough to an end user experience. So that stealth mode might actually make sense depending on what your product is.
So people are always using this phrase. They're always talking about the killer app, the thing that's going to bring VR to the mainstream. It's going to be a household name because of that killer app, that one thing. What is that? What's it going to be? What do you think?
It's going to be a social experience. I guarantee it. It's going to be something that's going to bring people together. It's going to be VR chat, or it's going to be RiftMax, or it's going to be something we've never heard of yet. There's going to be a piece of software that's going to allow me to talk to my friends in France, in New Zealand, and Texas, and California all at the same time. And it's going to be a wonderful thing, and people are going to jack in to use that software more than anything else. Everybody's concerned that VR is going to be a disconnecting technology. It's going to, I'm not here, leave me alone. And it's not going to be that. It's actually going to be, come join me. We're playing tic-tac-toe on top of Mount Everest, and there's 1,600 other people here, and you can chat with them.
You don't think virtual reality is going to kill social interaction and make the world a sad, lonely, cold place then?
No, absolutely not. I have more interaction with people now because of virtual reality than I did prior.
Okay, so this is the question that I ask everyone who comes on the show. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Maybe.
What is your dream virtual reality experience?
I have had so many real life experiences that are very fond memories. If I could even just have one of those again, birth of a child, my first time driving, the first time I danced with my wife. And if I could relive any of those, if I could yank that out of my brain and stick it into VR and experience it again, that would be amazing.
Oh, I get a little misty-eyed. That's so sweet. Okay, so Kyle, now I want to kind of open it up for anything interesting that you've got going on you want to tell me about, possibly?
Absolutely. My new website, RevVRstudios.com, is taking over for ReverendKyle.com. It'll be a place where you can go and get demos of games that I've developed, such as Project Taurus, Contraception, the soon-to-be renamed Hamster on a Tree. There's several games, and then you'll also be able to get a hold of my media. The podcast will be linked there as well, the RevVR podcast. So be on the lookout for that. Feedback with Reverend Kyle is every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then hopefully, if all goes well, you will be able to see that recorded. Usually on Saturday, I will post that on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ReverendKJR.
Okay, well, Kyle, I really want to thank you again so much for joining us here today, and I'll be seeing you soon on...
yes, that's right.
in several hours, actually, on feedback.
That's right.
So thanks again. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me on your show.
Thanks again so much to Rev Kyle for coming on the show and for having me as a guest on the newest episode of Feedback, along with my friend and fellow ASMR content creator, Heather Feather. If you haven't seen the episode, you can find a link to the video in the description below. So for today's cool VR demo, I really loved UK Rifter's walkthrough of New Retro Arcade by Digital Cyber Cherries.
Oh, that was Paul. Good job they got these gutter things. Hey, look, beer. Beer? Virtual beer. Well, that was a bit naughty.
I haven't gotten the chance to try New Retro Arcade yet, but it looks awesome. So if you've tried it, comment below and let me know what you think. So last time, I asked you guys how you envision the metaverse. Liv Erickson said, "My hope is that the metaverse turns out to be a way for people to live out their dreams in a way that is safe and allows them to feel fulfilled with life and be productive in how they choose to contribute to it." I really like that sentiment, Liv, and I think we can all probably agree. Masked Retriever said, "The metaverse will be traversed in nearly as many ways as there are people. People will have homes that are tiny, intimate apartments or vast kingdoms whose scale is determined by taste rather than resources." You know, I love that because I love the idea of a world where people aren't limited by how little they have. Very well said. And Tenacious Pod said, "When I picture the metaverse, my first thought is of the Futurama episode where they all go into the internet and fly around." I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of my first thought too. So this week, my question to you is the same one that I asked Rev Kyle. What do you think will be the killer app? The app that's so indispensable that everyone must have VR? Let me know in the comments down below or tweet me your answers at PixelWhipped. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of VirtuAlly. My name is Allie, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
This is pretty amazing. I've got about, let's see now. Wow. It's smooth as silk, it really is, it's fantastic. I've got all the noises coming out of the different arcade machines. I've got the lights, the neon. It's just fantastic that the neon on the carpet from the dark lights above, you know, it really gives you a sense of a 1980s arcade. You can almost smell the cigarette smoke.